खबरां दा लेखा जोखा जून 11-2025 आप सब तक पहुंचा रहे ने लिकर 62 घर दे विच विआह शादी है जां वडेरी पार्टी दे रहे हो तां उस दे लई वड्डी मात्रा ते हर प्रकार दी शराब बीयर ते वाइन खरीदण दे लई पधारो 6285 किंग जॉर्ज बुलेवार्ड सरी विखे लिकर 62 ते।
Squamish wildfire remains out of control, grows to 14 hectares. The wildfire that is threatening parts of the north end of Squamish continues to burn today. According to the BC Wildfire Services, as of 6 a.m., the fire has grown to 14 hectares and remains out of control. Darren McPearkey, the morning show announcer of Mountain FM Sea to Sky, says that while driving to work Wednesday morning, he saw what looked to be more flames. I could see the patches, best way I can describe it, of fire on the hillside. It definitely looks ominous. It's scary, he said. On Tuesday, the district of Squamish issued a local state of emergency as a precaution. Evacuation alerts have been issued for properties at the east end of Depot Road, east of Highway 99, including the Depot Road campground, properties at the end of Tantalus Road, properties along Tantalus Road north of Dowad Drive, and the Sky Ridge subdivision. In Brecondale, where the fire is, that is completely covered in smoke, and the closer you get to it, you can see patches of fire. You can see there's a new strip of fire. It looks like lights from a distance going up the mount sides, McPeake explained. One Squamish resident said that living in the mountain town, he's been through this before. We have lived here for 34 years and we've been through a fire where that part of the hill was on fire for almost a week, 10 days, he explained on Tuesday. Another resident shared that the fire is concerning because it's so close. It's a stone's throw away for me. This is a bit deja vu because I lived through the 2003 fires in Kelowna, he said. But I learned a lot. We are taking measures. We are packed and ready to go in a moment's notice if we need to. The Dryden Creek wildfire was first spotted on Monday afternoon and firefighting crews have been working on it ever since. The BC Wildfire Service says it has 2 initial attack crews, 1 unit crew and 4 helicopters and 1 air tanker responding to the wildfire. Winds pick up out of the south into the afternoon. The upside is that it's blowing the fire and the smoke from that fire to the north away from the community. But the winds are going to meander around and potentially become northerly again this evening. As for any rain on the way, this may be something coming on Thursday. It's going to be another warm afternoon in and around the Squamish area. That will change though on Thursday with cooler temperatures not getting out of the teens, cloud cover and even some precipitation. Definitely elevated humidity which will help.
स्क्वामिश विखे जिहड़ी अग लगी हुई है वो वध के 14 हैक्टेयर तक फैल गई है। इसका खुलासा जिहड़ा कर दिता गया। याद रहे सोमवार नूं अग दे देखण तो उपरंत सूचित किया गया सी और कल खास तौर दे कुछ सर्टेन एरिया ने स्क्वामिश दे जिहड़े कि अग दे नज़दीक जां अग तो प्रभावित ने उन्हां एरिया दे विचों आम पब्लिक नूं बाहर जिहड़ा कढ लिया गया सी। और अज भी दस्सिया जा रहा है गर्मी के कारण जिहड़ी अग है उस दे विच कोई बहुता ज़्यादा ठहराव नहीं आया जदों कि वड्डी पੱਧਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ अग बुझाऊ अमला जिहड़ा है टैंकर्स ते एयर टैंकर्स की मदद के नाल अग बुझाउण दीआं तमाम कोशिशां कर रहे हैं। और मौसम विभाग वालों दस्सिया जा रहा है कि वीरवार नूं आउण वाली जिहड़ी टैंपरेचर दे विच नमी जिहड़ा मींह पैण दे आसार ने वो अग बुझाउण दे विच कुछ मदद कर सकदे ने।
Vancouver hosting FIFA World Cup matches in a financial mistake, economist. Wednesday marks exactly 1 year from the 2026 FIFA World Cup getting underway, and there are still questions around cost and logistic as Vancouver is set to host several matches. Moshe Lander, senior lecturer at the Department of Economics at Concordia University in Montreal, says it's not worth being a host city. It was never going to be a money maker. It was always going to be cost overruns. I'm going to take a victory lap when we see the final bill and I say, I told you so. And it's really disappointing when the Vancouver mayor has a background in finance and couldn't see this coming. Lenda adds that when you consider the cost associated with hosting such a large-scale event, the numbers don't add up for a positive economic spin-off. He also doesn't buy the argument that this will help put Vancouver on the world map. It is conceivable that there isn't anybody in the world who has not heard of Vancouver. If you have heard of Canada, it is possible that you are going to say, "What is this Vancouver that I'm hearing about?" No way, he said. Beyond that, if Vancouver was hosting knockout round games, if they were hosting the finals, then okay, this is a broadcast to billions of people, and maybe it's possible that there's somebody who says, "Hey, check out this place. It has hosted the Winter Olympics. It is one of Canada's three biggest cities, and it is home to immigrants from over 100 different countries. It's impossible this is going to raise Vancouver's profile." Lenda doesn't think once the tournament is over, people will necessarily come back in droves to help boost tourism. Vancouver could have taken all of the tens of millions of dollars that we're spending, put together the slickest advertising campaign the world has ever seen, and broadcast it to the world. Much more cost effective than what they think they're going to get from having a couple of 90-minute matches. The timing of hosting is also terrible, given that the economy is currently struggling, he adds. Even if the economy were humming along, you still have to make decisions in government. You don't have an unlimited pool of money that you can draw from. If you're going to allocate tens of hundreds of millions of dollars to hosting a few World Cup games, then that is money that is going to come out of something else. It's not even a function of tariffs or the economy being in trouble or cost of living issues, which is not new to Greater Vancouver. He questions whether debt levels may rise or infrastructure projects are potentially pushed back because of the tournament, given that the event won't be paid off anytime soon. The other side effect of hosting is that some locals may get out of town to avoid the crowds. Lenda explains there are consequences to that as well. Can you imagine that the security cordon is going to look like to secure BC Place? Can you imagine what the already ridiculous traffic gridlock is going to look like? Can you imagine what the train system is going to look like, he said? The difference between now and the 2010 games is that we did not know how to work from home. Now we do. A lot of jobs that are in downtown can be done from home. So how many of these businesses are going to say to their workers, "Don't come in"? But by not coming in, how many of the secondary and tertiary businesses are going to say, "Where did all of our customers go?" Lenda says packed bars and restaurants won't help pay for the cost of hosting either. That's the same garbage we are seeing right now when we watch the Edmonton Oilers play in the Stanley Park Cup Finals. It doesn't change the economic reality that you're not actually creating permanent jobs any more than the Vancouver Olympics created permanent jobs. He also thinks there's a big difference between hosting a winter event and a summer event. In the summertime, Vancouver is packed. All you're going to do is replace the normal traditional tourists with the soccer tourists, and all they are going to do is displace the more traditional tourists if all of the local population is racing out of town and you're just substituting one set of tourists for another. It seems the net economic impact is at best zero and possibly even negative. When the city along with Whistler and Richmond hosted the 2010 games, there were massive infrastructure upgrades to the Sea to Sky Highway, the construction of the Richmond Oval and the Canada Line, but that's not the case this time around. In fact, the Broadway subway, which was supposed to be operational this year, won't be done until 2027 and is already over budget by almost 130 million. If you're not building new hotels and those hotels are already at 90% occupancy, you're really just substituting one set of tourists for another. And even if you cram more people into the hotels, it's probably going to drive hotel prices up. And so who's going to benefit from that? Is that going to be the cleaning crew? Is that going to be people on the front line of the hotel, or is that going to be the shareholders of the company who see extra profits and don't actually even live in Vancouver? Lenda doesn't deny it's going to be a big fun party, but he warns there will be a big hangover, saying negligent of the city officials not to be realistic with the public about the potential consequences of being a host city. The Ministry of Tourism is confident that this will create jobs and long-term benefits for the folks in the tourism sector. On average, people who visit BC return 4 times in their lifetime, according to Destination BC and BC Stats. They will fill up hotels, buy from the local businesses, and take their positive experience home, encouraging others to come. Destination BC estimates that hosting the FIFA World Cup 26 means BC will benefit from the estimated $1 billion in additional visitor spending from 2026 to 2031, it said in a statement. The province says that along with the city is committed to transparency and will be releasing cost estimates around the World Cup in the next few weeks.
अगले बारे आयोजित होने वाली ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ गेम्स है ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਅੱਜ ਪੂਰਾ 1 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਕੀ ਹੈ और FIFA 26 ਦੀਆਂ ਤਿਆਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਫਾਇਦੇ ਵੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਨਕੋਰਡੀਆ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਅਰਥ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਿਚਾਰਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੱਥ ਪੱਲੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਔਰ ਉਸਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਕੁਝ ਕੁ ਗੇਮਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਸਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਣਾ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਸਨੇ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ 2010 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵਿੰਟਰ 올림픽ਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਸਨੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਸਰਦੀ ਦੀ ਰੁੱਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਖੇਡਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਯੋਜਿਤ ਕਰਨ ਤੇ ਗਰਮੀ ਦੀ ਰੁੱਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਖੇਡਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਯੋਜਿਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਅਸਮਾਨ ਦਾ ਫਰਕ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਕਿਤਨੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੱਡੀ ਮਾਤਰਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਰਚਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਏਗਾ ਔਰ ਆਏਗਾ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਟਲੀ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਹੈਰਾਨੀ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਅਰ ਹੈ ਉਸਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਇਕਨੋਮਿਕਸ ਦੀ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਉਂਡ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਉਸਨੇ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਲਿਆ ਔਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਤੇ ਸਾਈਡ ਇਫੈਕਟਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਸਨੇ ਬਿਆਨਬਾਜ਼ੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ
Surrey police searching for witness to string of sexual assault. Police in Surrey are asking witnesses to come forward after a series of sexual assault in that city last week. According to the Surrey Police Service, at around 10:30 p.m. on June 5th, a woman got off a bus and walked west along 72nd Avenue from 132nd Street when she was approached from behind and allegedly sexually assaulted by an unknown man. Police say the victim managed to get away from the stranger and call police. While police were arriving, the same man approached another woman who was standing at the nearby bus stop and allegedly assaulted her. Police arrived a short time later and took the man into custody. Sergeant Ty Pollock said in a statement on Wednesday. The SPS said that during the investigation into the two incidents, investigators were then alerted to another alleged assault that happened earlier in the day. Police said that around 2:30 p.m. that same day, they were called to reports of an assault along 72nd Avenue near 130th Street. A woman reported that she was approached and assaulted by an unknown man to her. Police are investigating potentially links between this incident and the incident that occurred later that night, a short distance away, Pollock said. Police say a 33-year-old man has been charged 1 count of sexual assault and 2 counts of assault. He is currently remanded in custody until his next court appearance on June 13, 2025. The SPS is now urging anyone with the information to come forward as they believe there are likely several witnesses to the incidents. Investigators can be reached through the non-emergency line at 604-599-0502.
ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ 5 ਜੂਨ ਨੂੰ 72 ਤੇ 132 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਦੇ ਪਾਸ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਔਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ 10:30 ਵਜੇ ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਇੱਕ ਅਣਪਛਾਤੇ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸੈਕਸ਼ੂਅਲੀ ਅਸੌਲਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਔਰ ਉਸ ਲੜਕੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਛਡਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਆਦਮੀ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਔਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੱਸ ਸਟਾਪ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸੌਲਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਔਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਸ ਮਾਮਲੇ ਦੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤਫਤੀਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਵੀ ਮਿਲੀ ਕਿ ਉਸੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਔਰਤ ਉੱਤੇ ਸੈਕਸ਼ੂਅਲ ਅਸੌਲਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਯਾਦ ਰਹੇ ਹੁਣ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ 33 ਸਾਲਾ ਮਰਦ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਹਿਰਾਸਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਕਿ 13 ਤਰੀਕ ਨੂੰ ਜੱਜ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਨਾਲ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਦੀ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਿਸ਼ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੌਲਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਚਸ਼ਮਦੀਦ ਗਵਾਹ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਾਸ ਕੋਈ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਨੌਨ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਨੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰਨ।
Suspicious targeted Surrey fire displaces residents. Police looking for 2 suspects. Police in Surrey are looking for 2 suspects who are believed to have started a suspicious and targeted house fire in the city's Newton neighborhood early this morning. The Surrey Police Services say just before 1:45 a.m. officers received reports of a house fire along 64th Avenue near 134th Street. Officers quickly arrived and encountered 2 vehicles in the front of the house on fire and active explosions happening. Residents of a basement suite were able to safely be evacuated, but officers were advised about 2 upstairs residents, Sergeant Lindsay Houghton explained. Officers went to the back of the house that was quickly becoming engulfed in flames and managed to crawl through a small opening in a glass door they were able to break. Houghton says police were able to search the upper floor of the house and managed to rescue 2 elderly residents. One of the residents was able to be escorted out the rear of the house, but the other had to be carried out by both officers. As the second officer ran back in the rear of the burning house to look for more residents, Surrey Fire Services firefighters had arrived and were able to enter through the front, Houghton said. 8 residents were evacuated due to the fire, police say, and all were treated for smoke inhalation by BC Emergency Health Services. According to Houghton, there were no further injuries. SPS and Surrey Fire Service arson investigations will be returning this morning to continue the investigation to determine the cause. However, at this early stage, it is believed that the fire is suspicious and targeted, Houghton said. 2 suspects, both believed to be male, were seen at the front of the residence near the vehicles. At the time, the fire is believed to have started at approximately 1:38 a.m. 2 dark-colored sedans were seen driving away southbound on 134A Street. Police are urging anyone who may have witnessed the fire, who may have dashcam footage, to come forward to police and contact the SPS non-emergency line at 604-599-0502.
ਅੱਜ ਤੜਕਸਾਰ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 1:30 ਵਜੇ ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਿਊਟਨ ਏਰੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗ ਲਗਾਈ ਗਈ ਔਰ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਬੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਬੇਘਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ। ਔਰ ਜਦ ਇਹ ਅੱਗ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ 64 ਐਵਨਿਊ ਤੇ 134 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਦੇ ਪਾਸ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗੀ ਔਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ 2 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਅੱਗ ਲਗਾ ਕੇ ਭੱਜੇ ਸਡੈਨ ਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 134A ਵਾਲੀ ਸਾਈਡ ਨੂੰ। ਔਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੇਸਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਨੇ ਨਿਕਲ ਕੇ ਅੱਗ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਉਪਰੰਤ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ 2 ਅਫਸਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰਲੇ ਫਲੋਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੋਂ 2 ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਲਦੀ ਅੱਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਜਲ ਰਹੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਬਚਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਗ ਬਚਾਊ ਅਮਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਮੁੱਢਲੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਧਾਰ ਕੇ ਲਗਾਈ ਗਈ ਅੱਗ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਤਫਤੀਸ਼ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਕਿਸੇ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਸੂਰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਿਸ਼ ਵੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ।
Conservative MLA urges BC's Attorney General to act against criminal extortion. A Conservative MLA and critic for BC Attorney General is calling on the province to take action to combat blackmailing and other criminal extortion in BC. Richmond Queensborough MLA Steve Cooner wrote to Attorney General Nikki Sharma this week after several incidents that police believe could be linked to organised criminal extortion. He referred to 2 incidents. In one, a home in Surrey was targeted by gunfire twice in 2 weeks. The second shooting happened in spite of a police surveillance trailer being parked outside the building. Another incident over the weekend where shots were fired at a Surrey banquet hall. Cooner said the owner believes the shooting was related to an extortion attempt. The community wants answers. The community is scared, Cooner said. He says the province needs to take those criminal events seriously. This is a live issue. It needs to be addressed immediately and needs to be taken very seriously, he said. Cooner has outlined 7 action steps the BC government can take. People do not know where this is originally from. And so that is why the government needs to take leadership here, he added. Kunar is demanding that the provincial government work closer with the federal government to increase penalties for extortion cases, along with growing partnership with South Asian businesses to address long trust in law enforcement. He is also asking the government to establish a joint task force between RCMP and local BC police agencies to combat transnational crime. The province says it has allocated $100 million annually in specialized programs to ensure British Columbians are safe from organized crimes. We recognize the significant concern within the South Asian community regarding the ongoing extortion attempts by organized criminals, Public Safety Minister Gary Bagg said in an email statement. I cannot stress enough the importance of reporting any threats or extortion attempts to the police immediately. This information is crucial for police to track down these individuals, bring them to justice, and ensure that they are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Last year, police in several jurisdictions across BC and Canada said they were investigating a rash of extortion events.
ਐਕਸਟੋਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ MLA ਔਰ ਕ੍ਰਿਟਿਕ ਸਟੀਵ ਕੂਨਰ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਮੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਅਟਾਰਨੀ ਜਨਰਲ ਤੋਂ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਕਾਰਗੁਜ਼ਾਰੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਸਨੇ ਸਾਫ਼ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਾਈਚਾਰਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਸਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੁਝਾਅ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦੇਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ $100 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਦੇ ਨਿਮਿਤ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੱਖੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਮ ਨਾਗਰਿਕ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰੇ ਪਰ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਾਸੇ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਨੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਐਕਸਟੋਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਿਆ ਔਰ ਯਾਦ ਰਹੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਮੰਤਰਾਲਾ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਲਿਖ ਕੇ ਭੇਜਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਐਕਸਟੋਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੁਚੱਜੇ ਢੰਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਜਿੱਠਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕੇ
Liberal MP criticizes Modi's G7 invitation in meeting with Prime Minister Carney. BC Liberal MP Sukh Taliwal said he met with Prime Minister Mark Carney Wednesday morning to push back against the decision to invite Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the G7 summit in Alberta next week. In an interview with the Canadian press ahead of the meeting, Taliwal said he spoke with hundreds of people who don't want Modi to attend the upcoming Leaders Summit, some of them members of the Liberal caucus. We as Canadians take pride to be a champion on human rights. We are the country of law and justice, Taliwal said Tuesday. When it comes to protecting fundamental rights and serving justice for the victims, it is non-negotiable. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the RCMP linked agents of the Indian government to the murder of Canadian Sikh separatist activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Surrey, BC nearly 2 years ago. Last October, RCMP Commissioner Mike Duham said the police force had evidence linking Indian government officials to other crimes in Canada, including extortion and homicide. Justice Mary Josie Hogue, who led the public inquiry into foreign political interference last year, reported that China and India are among the primary actors behind foreign interference operations targeting Canada. Taliwal said Wednesday that he shared concerns raised by constituents with Carney before the weekly Liberal caucus meeting. Now that Modi is invited, we have to move forward, Taliwal said. Carney is alarmed about the issue and he will be very strong in dealing with those issues that are important to Canadians. Gurbakh Saini, another BC Liberal MP, said the decision to invite Modi to the G7 and a reported invitation extended to Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman are undermining Canada's reputation as a champion of human rights. It is a damaging thing because we have been known in the world as caring and compassionate people who love human rights, and this is something the Prime Minister is aware of and it has been brought to his attention, Saini said. Kani did not respond to reporters' questions on his way to the caucus meeting on Wednesday. International Trade Minister Maninder Sidhu said some of his constituents have raised concerns with him about invitations to the leaders. But I think it's important to note that at this time, at a time of crisis, we need to be able to collaborate and, of course, work out some issues, Sidhu said before entering the caucus room. The crisis Sidhu referred to is a tariff war with the US. Dhaliwal, who represents the riding where Niger was killed, said Tuesday the invitation betrays Canadian values. Before we invited him, Prime Minister Modi should have committed that he and his team of his associates or his departments will fully cooperate with the Canadian authorities, Dhaliwal said. Kani said he wants to keep policing matters separate from the Canada's responsibilities as G7 chair and has argued that India, one of the world's largest economies, belong at the table. Kani has said India agreed to continue a law enforcement dialogue. Modi's comment on his Friday call with Kani did not mention policing.
ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ G7 ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਮੋਦੀ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਨਿਯੋਤੇ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖਿਲਾਫਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਲਕ ਨਿਊਟਨ ਦੇ MP ਸੁਖ ਧਾਲੀਵਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਨਸ਼ਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਾਕਸ ਦੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ MP ਮਿਸਟਰ ਸੈਣੀ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਦੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਨਵੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਵੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਉਹ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀਆਂ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਧਾਰਨਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਵੈ ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਯਾਦ ਰਹੇ ਕਿ ਨਿਊਟਨ ਦੇ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 2 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਭਾਈ ਨਿੱਜਰ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਤਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ MP ਸੁਖ ਧਾਲੀਵਾਲ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੰਸਰਨ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪਾਸ ਜਤਾਏ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਉਧਰ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨੇ ਕਾਕਸ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਪਰ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ G7 ਦੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਆਯੋਜਿਤ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਖੇਤਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਫਰਜ਼ ਹਨ ਔਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਪੱਖ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਾਗਰਿਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰਨੀ है उस दे लिए हमेशा ही वचनबद्ध ते सतर्क हैं।
इसी के साथ हमें दीजिएगा इजाजत। खबरों दा लेखा जोखा के इस सेगमेंट से जिसे आप तक पहुंचा रहे थे लिकर 62। घर पे कोई फंक्शन है, शादी ब्याह है, सेलिब्रेशंस है या वैसे ही दोस्तों ने हल्ला गुल्ला करना है, लिकर की ज़रूरत है तो बेस्ट डिस्काउंटेड लिकर आपको मिल सकता है 6285 किंग जॉर्ज बुलेवार्ड, लिकर 62।